everybody. Again, it's Father Tom from good old St. Teresa, and I give little reflections, little thoughts on this week's upcoming Gospel. In fact, it's from Matthew. Again, I'm not offering these great revelations or 30, 40 minutes, just a little insights to it as we prepare here at God's Word. All right, so this is from Gospel of Matthew. From that time, Jesus began to show his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things from the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed, and on the third day be raised. And Peter took him and began to rebuke him, saying, God forbid, Lord, this shall never happen to you. But he turned to Peter and said, Get behind me, Satan. You are a hindrance to me, for you are not on the side of God, but of men. Then Jesus told his disciples, If any man would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross. Follow me, for whoever would save his life will lose it, and whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. For what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and forfeits his life? For what shall a man give in return for his life? For the Son of Man is to come with his angels in the glory of his Father, and then will repay every man for what he has done. The Gospel of the Lord. Anyway. Good old Peter, again, just sort of blabbering his mouth, maybe not thinking too much, but just speaking before he's thinking, or just speaking what he's thinking. It's automatic. You may know some people that will do that. You may be that as well. We just sort of blurt things out before we reflect, especially if you're an extrovert. I myself am an introvert, so normally we rehearse, we go over what we're going to say, and then we might say it if we feel courageous. That's not Peter. Can you imagine, though, here's Peter, one of the disciples, under the Master Jesus, and he sort of tells him to Jesus, Hey, look, Jesus, let me tell you how it's going to be. You know, he's rebuking. You know, he tells Jesus, this is never going to happen to you, Jesus. So he's telling Jesus, you know, how it's going to happen. You know, like Peter decided, he knows what's best. You know, let me tell you, Lord. This is not how it's going to be. Well, you know, that's how I think it should be. And Jesus said, what? You know, who are you, Peter? You don't understand, buddy, huh? And so he rebukes him. He's rebuking Jesus' declaration of the passion. And so something amazing happens here. When Peter said, this is never going to happen to you, Jesus turns and says to him, Get behind me, Satan. Woo! Man, huh? Wow, that's the adversary going against God's people. Get behind me, Satan. If you were here last week, remember, if not, you remember the gospel, Jesus changed Simon's name to Peter, right? What did he say to him? Simon, you are rock. And on the church I will build my church. Now he would come a week later, and now he tells him, you are Satan. I mean, how much worse can you get? The king of the devils, the legion, huh? The personification of evil. You are Satan. Wow, that's a quick change. That was a quick turnaround. Anyway, for the Greek word here, though, being a hindrance, you know, you are a hindrance to me. And hindrance is really a soft term, hindrance, you know. Hindrance, so something that usually means something that's in the way, an obstacle, but you can get over it. No, it's much stronger than that. The Greek word here is scandalon. We get the word scandal from it in English, right? And so, but in the original, the word scandalon actually literally means a stumbling stone. So if you walk in that stone, that's where you trip over and you fall and you mess up your knee and you get angry and who knows what you do. So a scandalon would be a stone in the path that you trip over when you're walking. So guess what? Peter's still a rock, but now he's a little stumbling stone. So you get a little well-defined. Interesting how Jesus plays on that. And now we're here to talk about being a follower. If any man will come after me, let him do two things. What are they? Deny himself, right? Take up his cross and follow me. Now often we say about, you know, being a follower, being a believer of Jesus, we normally we narrow it down to believing in certain things, certain tenets of the faith. You know, I believe Jesus is the Son of God, I believe that he's divine, I believe that he's died. And somehow we kind of equate faith with what we believe in. If you believe in certain things, then that's all that matters. That's what counts. But that's not the case here. When Jesus says, you are my disciples, which really means a student, okay? And so if you're a student of Jesus, it's not simply memorizing information, all right? Somehow that's how we sometimes teach religion, right? We had to memorize catechism, answers, question, answer. And maybe even memorizing Bible verses, which is all good, not bad, but somehow we think that's the ultimate, that's the goal. It isn't. So you just don't believe what the Master says. You imitate him, you live like him, you walk with him, and you act like him. All right? It's not head knowledge, though that's, necessary. You need to feed your mind with something, but it's really your behavior. If I am a disciple of Jesus, it means I act like him, I walk with him, I imitate him. I want to be just like him. You imitate him. And that's something to think about right now, isn't it? Think about that. How willing am I to, do those things? To live like him, walk like him, act like him, live a simple life, live a life of forgiveness, live a life of charity, live a life of kindness, live a life that doesn't strike back when someone insults me or hurts me, well, in many different ways, because I'm a disciple of Jesus. Wow. And so Jesus said, "Want to be my disciple, you do these two things. You have to accept suffering, and you have to imitate me." Accept suffering. Who likes to suffer? Right? Where we live right now, we live in a pill-crazy world, right? We want to change our behavior, right? We want to take a pill for something. So once I take a pill, I can continue what I'm doing, how I'm behaving, how I'm living, how I'm acting. I don't want to adjust my behavior, all right? You ever see even these diet plans? Some of them blurt out, "Eat whatever you want." Yeah, or it makes the food look good. We don't want to sacrifice. We don't want to have any pain. I said that impinges my lifestyle. Yeah, we're a pill-popping society. I used to do a little counseling, and people see a counselor, and usually what happens sometimes, they have a problem, and they give them medication, and sometimes medication is necessary, of course. But sometimes they don't have to deal with the whole issue. Rather than look at it, and talk about it, and work on it, it's simply, here, just take this pill. We want to avoid suffering. None of us like suffering, right? None of us like the suffering. Sometimes we just get too soft. Sometimes the biggest complaint in church is not whether we're reaching people, helping people. Gee, the air condition is too hot or it's too cold. That's our biggest complaint, all right? Because I'm not comfortable. So one thing, we have to be willing to suffer, and we have to imitate Jesus. And the big way he's asking us to imitate Jesus. Would you be willing to die for your faith? Will you be willing to die for him? I said, oh no, now you're going too far. First you want me to suffer, okay, that's bad enough. Now you want me to what? I want you to willing to die? Oh, no, I ain't doing that. That's a little bit extreme. That is for the few, all right? But actually be a follower of Christ, it means just that. I'd be willing not only to suffer, but to die for Christ. Whew, chew on that for a while. And he says, you must take up your cross, right? Now, at least in the Catholic circles, I don't know anywhere else, we say take up your cross. It means whatever difficulty you have in life, that's your cross. You're in a bad marriage, you have some illness, some financial struggles, or just personal issues, whatever it may be, Man, your car ran out of gas, oh, that's your cross, whatever it may be. We think that's what Jesus is referring to, and that's not a bad thing, to carry those burdens, those annoyances, sufferings in life, and to do it in a good spirit, make it part of our prayer. But that's not what Jesus means here. Because when you say take up a cross, there's no idea of this symbolic, adding your suffering. The cross was a form of execution, as you know that. The most brutal, the most hideous, the most shameful way to die at the hands of the Roman Empire there in the 1st century. In fact, I think I read somewhere that in Jesus' lifetime, by the way, crucifixion, normally we see Jesus being crucified, and we think, well, there was 2 thieves on his right and left. But I wonder how many people were crucified. They said in his lifetime, which had 33 years or so it was about 30,000 people. That's a good number, isn't it? Almost 30 years, what's that? I'm bad at math. 1,000 a year, right? 1,000, but roughly almost 1,000, that's a lot of people. And that was a sign to people, hey, you uprise against the Romans' authority, guess what? That's going to be you up on the cross. Let that be a warning to you. So people came and saw it and looked at it and said, whoa, I ain't going to cause any problems. Most painful, most heinous way to die. And so when Jesus said, disciples, want to follow me, you have to take up your cross. He's calling them just to that, to suffering and death. Wow. You know, you could put on the TV, you hear different religious speakers, you know, very good. And sometimes all they ever promise is that, you know, you follow Christ, you say yes to Christ, that your life will be fulfilled. You know, no more struggles, no more pain, no more suffering. Guess what? You'll be healthy, wealthy, right? You'll be blessed. And that's what they preach. And for some, that, you know, good Lord's favor may be upon you. But that's never what Jesus would say. You follow me and you have your best life now. You'll be comfortably rich. No, not at all. It's a life of being a Christian. It could be a life of suffering. Now, mind you, everyone suffers, right? So you say, take up your cross, whatever that cross may be, your illness, your relationships, whatever. Everybody goes through that. Believers and non-believers. You're not any exception. That's life. Life, everybody suffers in life, right? Life is difficult, says Scott Peck, and it's true. No. So that wouldn't be just that offering of that. It means simply be willing to die for Christ. And today, you know, I look around the world and it may come to that being a Christian, it's going to cost something. Maybe not your life necessarily, but it could cost you your job. Could cost that promotion. Could cost you getting to the university, the college that you want. Don't you think not? You hold to those Christian beliefs, you'll be ostracized, you'll be criticized, you'll be ridiculed. It's happening. You know that. And I think by all signs, I think it's only going to get worse. Are you willing to go against what society holds and willing to believe what we believe? You just tell people that you're against abortion. You see what they treat. You'll see. So I think we're going to suffer, and younger generation even more so. But hopefully be more committed. And lastly, something to think about. What does it profit man if he gains the whole world and loses his soul? What does it profit? You're going to die. Whatever you have, whatever you gained, it's not going with you. So what does it profit you in the long run? You gain the whole world. Actually, if you gain the whole world, where are you going to put it? It's too big. But if you gain the whole world, at the end, everything goes back in the box, and you lose your soul. That's for eternity. So keep that perspective in mind. That I want to be a Christ follower, be willing to suffer for His name. I'm not ashamed of the gospel. I'm not ashamed of Jesus Christ. And others don't like it, I'm willing to suffer the consequences. It's a tough gospel. We like things that are encouraging and optimistic and positive, and new life, and your best life. I understand that, and I believe that too, but understand, the deal is this, that if I follow Christ, I may have to imitate Him on the cross. I hope you look good on wood. God bless you.